Hello, Ninja Kittens. Hello, Hello Kitty Warriors. You that have known me for a while may remember my very first video. And in my very first video, what did I do? Well, I had something on my face. It was the Cocoa Dream Hydrating Mask. And because it's Self-Care Sunday, it seems like it's a good idea to have that on my face again today. And here we are doing a little bit more of hula hooping. Well, with 3 hoops right now. And normally 3 hoops don't stay up very long, but I feel like exercising my core today. So this really is not about a yoga. This is about storytelling. And I have a story I'd love to tell. And if you know me, I've told this story 1,000 times, literally. I've told it over and over again because this is Sandy's ghost story. Well, about 13 years ago, I was 285 pounds, and I lost my gallbladder. I was diagnosed with diabetes and high blood pressure all at the same time. And I ended up in the hospital for about a month. And it was about as close to a near-death experience as I've ever experienced. And I, at that moment, decided that I wanted to live. And I also realized up to that point, I didn't know who I was, or where I was going. And so I went on a walkabout. I went searching for who I really was. And I started doing things I'd never done before. I did some hypnosis. I did some yoga. I did some erotic hypnotic hypnosis. I met some people online that I followed and I loved. And I listened to some of their things and I really enjoyed them, but I avoided others because they just didn't seem right for me. And then I met someone, then I followed her. And I did fall head over heels for her. And I started following her syllabus and reading everything she had in order and paying attention to each one at a time. And I came to a little session called Mirror, Mirror. And when I listened to Mirror, Mirror, something magical happened. Because it was a guided meditation where she turned me into a woman and did things to me. But the important part was what happened to me at that moment. I looked deep into myself. I looked deep into my core, and there was a little seed there, a little thing there, a little core there that broke open and opened up. And I saw that my core, my center, my very bottom of my being had always been female. And at that moment, I saw like a stone dropping and little ripples going in all directions. And I saw my past now making sense. My decisions, my relationships with others now made sense. And where I was made sense. And I could see my path going out into the future, rippling forward. And then I dedicated myself to become the very best woman I could be. To transform first my soul, then my clothing, and lastly my body. And I'm still working on my body. It's a daily transformation. And then I went back to the people I'd seen before and listened to some of the sessions they had, because they had things called feminization that I had avoided, and now I wanted to know more. And so I listened to this and dedicated myself to listening to it. And one person had a session called Power of the Name. I went, And in it they asked a question. It was a little 5-minute guided meditation taking you from your male name to your female name. And so I had to ask myself this question for the first time. What is my female name? And I thought about it for a while, and I realized, well, my very first crush when I was 14 was a girl named Sandy. She lived on the other side of the tracks. I was 14, she was 14. We went to school together, but we never talked, never held hands, never went on a date, never kissed. But she was still my first crush. And then I thought a little more and realized that another person, another Sandy in my life, when I was 18, she was 24, and I was in a church. And in that church, you didn't even date unless you're already planning on getting married. And she has such a fountain of love and light, such powerful, positive energy flowing from her. If I had to live with someone, I wanted to live with her. So I went ahead and asked her, and of course she laughed and said no. And that's okay, because that's not what love is. Love, for me, was about what's best for her. And, well, we never went on a date, never held hands, never did anything sexual. Maybe got a couple hugs because it was a church thing. But still, that was the reason I chose the name Sandy. And from then on, I've called myself Sandy, and that's me. I'm Sandy. And I told both my sisters early in my transformation, and all of a sudden my sisters have new sisters. So my older sister and my younger sister, one's 2 years younger, one's 4 years older. And oh, my little sister taught me makeup. My big sister taught me how to sew. And it's been just so lovely, so fantastic to have another sister and be accepted by my sisters. It's been so precious. But both of them then said, don't tell Mom, don't tell Dad. They're too old, they won't understand. And I started continuing to transform and calling myself Sandy, not just to my friends, but also online, on the internet, on Facebook. I was calling myself Sandy. Until at one point my brother found out. Now my brother's 4 years older, and he's the one that beat me up when I was younger because I wasn't like the other kids on the block. But that doesn't mean he doesn't love me. In our family, playing games was how we showed love. And my brother played games with me all the time. So I knew he loved me. But I also knew sometimes he didn't understand me. And that was okay too. So eventually I called my brother up and he said, who's this Sandy on the internet? And I went, well, no, that's not Sandy, that's me. I'm Sandy. I discovered my core was female. My brother goes, I don't expect me to like it, but I always knew there was something different about you. And my brother, as far as I'm concerned, that's my brother taking it with love. And later on, next spring when I went to introduce Sandy to my mom, he actually went around where he lived and introduced me as his sister Sandy from Cleveland over and over. And that was just so precious to me. But after my brother took it with love, I figured my mom and dad, they can handle it. So I called up my mom and dad and I told them that my core was female, that I was female. And my mom goes, you know, I always knew there was something different about you. Mothers, we know these things. And I went, oh my gosh, Mom. Oh, I wish you told me sooner. I was 50 before I figured anything out. And it was so precious. Because I had been wearing my mother's jewelry and rocking it every day. And I wanted to tell my mom how much I appreciated her creativity and how much I honored her creativity in me. Because my mom is so creative and my sisters are so creative. And I've discovered that I am also so creative. So on October 26, 2017, I did legally change my name to Sandy Alice Haas. Now the name Alice, that's my grandmother's name. Because by taking that name, I'm honoring all women and the women in my family. So Sandy Alice, and then the last name I have is Haas, and that's a precious name because the women in my family are loaded with creativity, fashion, and fun. Both of my sisters are just, I'm just going to say loaded, blessed with an abundance, which they share with others. So I became Sandy Alice Haas, and then I was talking with my mother, and here comes the ghost part of the story. Because the world is connected in magical, mystical ways we cannot comprehend. Listen to this one. About a month after I changed my name, I was talking with my mom. And my mom goes, you know, there may be another reason why you call yourself Sandy. I say, why is that? She goes, did you know that Alice Granger actually had 10 children, not 9? One of them lived only 3 days. And her name was Sandra Ann. And my name is Sandy Alice. And I feel a mystical, magical, wonderful connection to my aunt, to my mother's sister. I held my great niece when she was only 6 hours old. I understand a little bit of the mystical, magical, wonderful power that's released with the birth of a child. And that I could get a little bit of scans of that is just precious. And ever since the first moment I started transforming, I've always gone towards skirts and pearls and crushed velvet. These things I've always rocked and always loved. And it's effortless because, well, the world is filled with mystical, magical connections that we cannot really understand. And you may understand this. I've been actually hooping with 3 hoops the whole time we've done this. What? And that's about mystical, magical, wonderful things too. Because I am dedicated to becoming the best woman I can be. It is Self-Care Sunday, and on my face right now I have the Cocoa Dream Hydrating Mask, which a long time ago I visited my little sister, and she researched things on the internet, and she got some all-natural face masks that she found on the internet, and we tried and did them together. And this one's very simple. You just take a fresh avocado that's well ripe, add to that some cocoa powder and some honey, stir it up, mix it up, and you've got 2 things. You have a natural chocolate frosting that's scrumptious and delicious, and you have a Cocoa Dream Hydrating Mask you can put on your face. And it is amazing. I've used it many times, and what it does, it is a hydrating mask, and it makes me more hydrated. So remember, today is Self-Care Sunday. Take great care of yourself. Today I started my day with coconut oil on my body, with hot lemon water, with vitamins. And I've been taking vitamins every day since I started transforming my body because, well, I am forcing myself through puberty at this young age of now 62. I'm standing here just like you, hula hooping with 3 hoops. Did you see that? 3 hoops? And then I worked for 12 hours today, and it was hard. But I was lifted up by what? By the love of you and the love of my friends and the love of everybody I work with. But every once in a while, well, things get askance and askew, and my hoops come down, and that is perfectly okay. Because now it's time for me to go to bed and get ready for another day. And I want to let you know, this is Sandy's ghost story. And when I tell it, well, the hairs on my body stand up and I get goosebumps. And I had those goosebumps today because some things just go beyond normal understanding. So give yourself love today. Hoop with 3 hoops if you can, or 1 if you like to. Do some yoga, do some exercise. Give yourself the love you need to thrive. And you know what I love to say? Thrive on, girls, thrive on. Thrive on, girls, thrive on. Give yourself love and thrive today.